Hey everybody, it's Mike Sullivan with Building Better Communities. Today we have an awesome guest. His name is Rick Perez, and he is the city traffic engineer in beautiful Washington in a cool city called Federal Way. And Rick, thank you, man, for carving out some time with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, yes, sir. What's the thing that gets you excited to go to work as a city traffic engineer?
Well, a lot of times it's a series of delayed gratifications,
Mm,
but I really get a kick out of seeing, my designs getting constructed and seeing how well they perform. And, um, when I first came to Federal Way, I identified the need for a project that, um, not only resolved a lot of congested. We had queues on two roadways that were backing up over three-quarters of a mile, and one of the two intersections impacted by this had by far the worst collision history in the city. And we came up with a design for it. We got the grant to help build it and cut collisions 87%.
that's amazing.
Yeah, so that was a real good feel good experience. But yeah, elsewhere in my experience, seeing my stuff get built and functioning well was very gratifying.
Answering it, how did you get your start in this? What turned you on to this line of work?
Okay, so my mom liked to take road trips,
Okay.
and her idea of a nice Sunday drive was 400 miles to and from the Redwoods.
Okay. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah, quick ride.
um, and and I like going. And this was in the 60s, and there was roadway construction all over the place.
Oh,
And so I got really interested in that. And my dad said, "You should be a civil engineer." And so I said,
yeah.
"Okay, I'll go be a civil engineer." Um, and yeah, so that's what inspired me initially
Yeah.
was, and complex interchange design in particular was very attractive to me. And there was plenty of those in California.
Yeah.
So anyway, we I started off at UC Berkeley, but I didn't do well because I wasn't used to studying that hard.
Hmm.
And so I dropped out second quarter, worked some minimum wage jobs for a while, and then um, went to school in Oregon at Oregon Institute of Technology. And one thing I really liked about that place is they had what they called an inverted curriculum.
Hmm.
Instead of 2 years of general ed stuff before you really got to take the hardcore engineering classes, you basically got an associate degree first. So you were taking technical courses right away. You were then much more marketable for summer jobs and stuff like that. And I was lucky to get into a cooperative education program with Federal Highway Administration. And so for 3 seasons, they sent me all over the Northwest
Oh, wow.
doing surveying and construction inspection. So that work proved very valuable because I remember when I first interviewed with Washington State DOT, they said, well, supposing you were having to do a bridge relocation survey, what would you do? And oh, well, I did a bridge relocation survey in Yellowstone National Park, and this is all the stuff we did, and
Yeah.
so
Very
that
cool.
kind of experience was just invaluable.
Right.
And it paid enough that I actually had some money at the end of the summer, so that helped a lot.
Yeah, that's
Um,
great.
so yeah, and then so I went to work at WashDOT, and there's pieces of I-90 between Seattle and Bellevue that are my design, and
Hmm.
I take a lot of pride in that. Took a while to get it built. Got lured into consulting, so I did a little bit of that, and out on the Olympic Peninsula in Western Washington is a town called Squim, and they desperately needed a bypass.
Hmm.
Consultant firm I got the work to do the environmental and preliminary roadway design. So I did all the traffic analysis for that and the preliminary roadway design. Took about 10 years for me to be able to see that get built, but
Hmm.
that was really cool. Um, we moved to Oregon for a while. I was assistant city traffic engineer in Oregon and Salem. And so then that's when I really started getting into like signal operations, and managed the construction of a signal system there. Got lured back into consulting, worked on West Side Light Rail, Hillsborough Extension, and managing all the traffic aspects of that project. Um, and then I saw this job open up, and it was a good bump for me. And Federal Way at the time was only 6 years old. It had been incorporated in 1990,
Hmm.
and and I was fortunate that our public works director at the time had a lot of credibility with the city council, and that credibility kind of filtered down to me.
Hmm.
And so I got to do some really cool stuff. We did the first two-lane roundabout in the state.
Hmm.
We did the first rectangular rapid flashing beacons in the state, and now we've got like 50 of them.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, and so yeah, you know, seeing where I've left my mark is pretty exciting. And now it's kind of evolved since I'm managing more people, um, seeing the people that have worked for me and mentored move on in their careers, I find very rewarding. So, yeah, I mean, one of the guys, when I first started in Federal Way, he could barely speak without stuttering wildly
Hmm.
and was very nervous all the time. And I got him to the point where he could do presentations with neighborhood groups. And then he moved on to Orlando and is now managing 500 traffic signals
Wow.
for Orange County, Florida, down there. So,
That's awesome.
after he'd been there about 2 years, he sent me a link to he was interviewed on television talking about signal timing, and
Wow.
he did beautifully. It was such a
Oh,
transformation to see that.
that's so cool.
So yeah, it was very cool.
That's
So
beautiful. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that's about it. I've been here now for 30 years as of July 1.
Wow.
And and looking to retire soon, but um, I've had a lot of fun in this job.
It sounds like it. And it must be such a cool feeling to see what you saw in your head, in your imagination, and then using your creativity and all of the skills that you have to create that first two-way roundabout, to create, all the bypasses, everything that you created, then you actually get to drive it. What is
Hmm.
that? That must feel incredible when you're like, "Hey, honey, and
Yeah,
family's there. Your dad made this or designed it." Like, how that must feel amazing.
yeah, it is, and to this day, there's a ramp that was my concept and preliminary design
Hmm.
in Bellevue at the interchange of I-90 and I-405 that I came up with, that I can't drive through that interchange without looking at it. And my
Right.
wife always gets, "You just gotta look at it, don't you?" I said, "Heck yeah."
That's so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. You're enjoying your creation. I think that's
Yeah.
really cool. That's so cool. And and it's beautiful too, Rick, how you helped, you mentored so many people, and how in that one in particular, how you helped him grow and feel more comfortable in presenting, and then now he's on TV doing, that's just so cool. It's like a Papa Bear moment, like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so cool. And if there's someone, I know it's a little bit out of order, but if there's someone that's thinking of doing this, like, wow, that sounds cool. What Rick's doing, I want to do that. How do I do that? What advice or encouragement, if someone's in middle school or high school or college, and or they're just starting out, what's some encouragement you would give to him or her?
Well, it is kind of interesting because I wasn't a good student in high school. My attitude was, why work my tail off for an A when I can hardly study at all and get B's?
Right.
There were certain topics, especially math, that just came pretty easily to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but after I flunked out of Berkeley, I was like, oh, geez, like my father was really upset with me. He says, "Okay, you're on your own now, Bucko."
Okay.
And um, but anyway, but just having that goal in mind of knowing what I wanted to do, yeah, it took me a few more years, but I found a way to do it. And so keeping your eye on the goal, I think, is the most important thing. And yes, stuff's going to happen to you on the way. Some of it will be good, some of it won't be good, but don't let that stop you. Uh, and I also every year the high school where I live is has a what they call Future Ready Day,
Mm,
and so I've been uh, doing a presentation there and this is mostly high school kids,
mm,
and talking about because civil engineering is so broad,
mm-hmm.
and even I, you know, really didn't know all the different places that you could end up and applying those skills. And anyway, and another thing that's fun about that is I'll get letters afterwards from the kids
Mm,
that, is like, oh, thanks for telling me about this. This is really cool. He said, I thought I wanted to do this kind of engineering, but this looks like a lot of fun. So I
that's
get a kick
awesome.
out of that too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just there's really lots of opportunities because what's civil engineering? We design and build stuff that people get to use.
Yeah.
And and a lot of it we take, for granted until something goes wrong, right?
Right.
And that's probably one of the downsides is you aren't going to get a whole lot of accolades from the
Mm,
public.
mm,
They just assume everything's working the way, it's like when you turn on the water tap, you expect water to come out, and they don't understand how, why, they just know it works.
right.
And that's success. If something goes wrong, yeah, you'll hear about it.
Yeah.
But so, that's another thing is, when you get the positive feedback, because it's so rare, you really treasure it.
Yeah.
And so, you got to take those rewards where you can find them.
Yeah. Amen to
But
that.
yeah, it's been, I've been able to do a lot of cool stuff. And actually, one of the best compliments I ever got from an elected official is I was pitching the idea of what's called a Michigan left intersection treatment.
Hmm.
Now they call it median U-turn intersection treatments. But
Okay.
anyway, so I was pitching that idea here, and one of the council members said, I was just in Detroit and I hated those things. He says, but you brought us roundabouts, they work. You brought us flashing yellow arrows, they work. So I'll reserve judgment.
Oh, nice. That is a cool compliment, you know. That's they're seeing that your thoughtfulness and mindfulness of how you're approaching it is making it safer and better. So that's awesome. And you kind of mentioned you touched on this point, Rick, of maybe the least favorite part of your career, but
Okay.
you maybe and then maybe encouragement too if someone else is going through that of how you got
Yeah.
through that.
Yeah. So since I'm a manager,
Hmm.
there's certain management activities that are not a lot of fun.
Right.
Working on budget stuff,
Yeah.
not terribly rewarding,
Right.
but it's
Right.
rewarding if you get the money, but for the
Right.
stuff you need want to do,
Sure.
but it's that and public records requests
Yeah.
are and the legal things when there's a tort claim against the city. Consultants usually don't have to deal with that, but in the public sector, that's a real thing,
Mm,
and it's it can be very time consuming, and you feel like you're getting pulled away from the work you really need to be doing.
mm.
And so,
Yeah, how do you get
trying to
through that?
balance that out,
Yeah.
but it's all part of the process,
Okay.
and you know, um, I try not to focus on that,
Mm,
too much, and just like I say, taking the rewards where they are
yeah.
and running with those and try not to get too hung up on, the less pleasant tasks
Yeah.
that
Uh,
pretty much have to be done.
yeah. That's all part of it. It's a whole package and it sounds like you've had a really rewarding career, a really fulfilling career. And thank you, Rick, for sharing your heart and for sharing your story and your experience. It was really inspiring. So thank you for carving out some time for us today.
You bet.
Wherever people go, one signal at a time, one project, one design, making tomorrow brighter than today. They're building better communities, keeping families safe on every street, helping traffic move, helping dreams come true.